Area's leader in live local news, this is WYLN News, the area's #1 source of live local news and information in Luzerne, Schuylkill, Carbon, and Columbia counties. WYLN News starts now.
Good evening, and thank you for joining us on WYLN News. I'm Ryan Prosick. 3 people have pled not guilty in connection with the fatal shooting in Wilkes-Barre. Caden Carruth from Hazleton and Amir Grayson and Brianna Knight from Wilkes-Barre have been charged with criminal homicide and conspiracy to commit criminal homicide in connection with the incident. According to court records, the victim, Elijah Rivers, died at the Geisinger, Wyoming Valley Medical Center after being found in front of the residence at 117 North Meade Street. Court records say Carruth and Grayson shot the victim and that Knight drove them to the location as they waited for Rivers to appear. When Rivers arrived, officials say Carruth and Grayson fired multiple shots at the victim. Carruth and Grayson are also facing charges of carrying a concealed firearm without a license in connection with the incident. Police have released additional details regarding an investigation this week on Carlisle Street in Wilkes-Barre. According to Wilkes-Barre detectives, unidentifiable decomposed remains were discovered in the basement of the residence at 142 Carlisle Street. Due to the state of the decomposition, officials say Mercyhurst University in Erie was contacted to help determine if the remains are human. The removal was completed on Wednesday, with the remains being transported to Mercyhurst University for examination. As part of the investigation, police are attempting to determine the identity of the residents of the home over the past 12 to 24 months. Anyone with information regarding the residents or the incident is asked to contact the Wilkes-Barre Detective Division at 570-208-0911. PennDOT and the Bridging Pennsylvania developers held a public meeting Thursday evening to discuss pre-construction plans for the Interstate 80 Nescopec Creek bridges. The bridge replacement project involves the replacement of 2 deteriorating bridges that carry Interstate 80 eastbound and westbound over Nescopec Creek. Plans include improving the stability of the bridges, as well as expanding the 4-foot lanes on each bridge to 12-foot lanes of traffic in each direction. PennDOT District 4 Executive Richard Roman said that the meeting was a good way to get feedback from the public.
It's good. It's always good to engage with the public. It's always good to get their feedback and get issues that locals have that we don't know. And we took everybody's input. We'll look into some things and see what we could address and maybe make their lives a little bit better during construction. But as was stated, 4 years of construction, things are going to happen, and we just got to minimize when bad things happen to address them as quickly as they can.
The biggest concern among Nescopec residents is the impact construction will have on traffic in the area. PennDOT says that Route 3016 will be temporarily closed beginning in spring of this year, although there are precautions in place to help mitigate any additional traffic. Detours will be implemented for all through traffic during the different phases of construction and are expected to be lifted in the fall. Nescopec resident Brenda Mowry said that attending the meeting helped to clarify the areas affected by construction.
I'm glad I came, just because I had some concerns with the traffic, especially when there's an incident on Interstate 80. They use the back roads and they turn around people's fields, and it just causes a lot of havoc, or to take out power lines. Just some concerns of what the outcome's going to be at the end of this. So.
Being from a rural area, Mowry says that the excessive traffic in Nescopec Township has only increased over the years, and that many drivers unknowingly pass through private property.
I've lived here my whole life, and the traffic has really gotten worse in the last at least 10 years. So it's a lot of people from all over the place, and just don't understand, these are rural roads and we don't have speed limit signs, and, we just want everybody, to do the right thing.
The Nescopec Creek Bridges replacement project is expected to be completed by the fall of 2027. A date for Brian Kohberger's trial has not yet been set. Officials say the judge plans to address a motion by the defense for a change in venue before setting the date of the trial. Kohberger has been charged with the fatal stabbing of 4 University of Idaho students in November of 2022. Officials say the deadline for Kohberger's alibi is April 17th. April 17th is also the deadline for any presentations, affidavits, witnesses, and other materials for the motion to change venue. The state will then have until May 1st to respond, and a hearing will be held on May 14th to make a decision. Several streets in Hazleton may experience closures and delays in the coming weeks due to gas main replacement projects. UGI Utilities has scheduled the projects to begin on March 1st. The construction will take place Monday through Friday between 7 a.m. and 5 p.m. The roads affected by the construction are as followed: Peace Street between West 6th Street and West 10th Street, West 7th Street between Peace Street and Grant Street, West 8th Street between Peace Street and Hanover Court, and West 10th Street between Peace Street and Clinton Court. Residents are also warned that parking will be restricted on the impacted streets during construction hours. Some interruptions to natural gas service may also occur. The construction is estimated to be completed in May of 2024. A fire in Minersville on Thursday has been ruled accidental. According to officials, crews responded to the blaze at 328 Pleasant Street around 5 a.m. Despite heavy fire on the second floor, crews say the blaze was marked under control by 6:30 a.m. An investigation into the cause of the fire has determined that the blaze was accidental and electrical in nature. The homes at 326, 330, and 332 Pleasant Street were also heavily damaged in the fire. 5 adults and 5 children are receiving assistance from the American Red Cross in connection with the fire. A warrant has been issued for the arrest of a woman accused of stealing thousands of dollars from a Minersville daycare. Kay Carvajal is wanted after officials say the owner of K&E Friends Forever Daycare reported $5,000 in unknown transactions coming from the daycare's business account. The $5,000 was discovered to have been moved from the account on January 16th to another account in Carvajal's name. Carvajal reportedly stopped working at the daycare in August of 2021, but failed to disassociate herself from the daycare's business account. According to officials, the daycare owner, Emily Taylor, attempted to resolve the issue by sending Carvajal a letter through her attorney about the $5,000. In the letter, officials say Taylor gave Carvajal the opportunity to return the money and avoid criminal charges, but Carvajal did not respond. Carvajal has been charged with theft by unlawful taking, access device fraud, and receiving stolen property in connection with the incident. Coming up on WYLN News, a woman is wanted by the Carbon County Sheriff's Office. Plus, the deadline for businesses to register for the Greater Hazelton Job Fair is rapidly approaching. But first, take a look at our 5-day forecast brought to you by the WYLN Weather Kids. We'll be right back.
Movie was over and the mall was ready.
Weather Kids is brought to you by Lehigh Valley Hospital, Hazelton. Your health deserves a partner.
We want your child to be our WYLN Weather Kid. Your child can be our feature weather reporter of the day on WYLN News and WYLN social media posts just by using your smartphone or any video recording device. It's easy. All ages are welcome, from toddlers to teens. To find out how, go to the weather section of WYLNTV.com or look for our post about it on the WYLN News Facebook page. Submit your Weather Kid video today. If you're looking for an affordable pre-owned car or truck, Cheers Auto Sales has a great lineup of clean, dependable, and quality vehicles. Stop in at 610 North Broad Street in West Hazelton, 570-454-7229. Cheers is proud to be celebrating 70 years in business.
WYLN TV 35 is expanding and is on the hunt for a dynamic salesperson to join our vibrant team. If you've got the passion and the drive, we want to hear from you. Send your resume to the email displayed on your screen. Don't miss this great opportunity.
There's no better place to shoot than Whitetail Preserve. Their skeet, trap, and sporting clay fields are professionally designed, and all stations are handicap accessible. Whitetail Preserve has resident shooting instructors certified by the NRA in shotgun, rifle, pistol, home safety, and personal protection in the home. Whitetail can also cater any size event, whether it be a private party, corporate event, or wedding. Call 570-384-2314 for more information.
Hello, I'm WYLN historian Chris Fulmer. Pennsylvania's communities are filled with interesting history. Come with me as we discover the people, events, industries, and other historic facets of local towns.
Welcome back to WYLN News. A woman is wanted by the Carbon County Sheriff's Office. Crystal Michael has been charged with DUI first offense and 2 counts of possession with intent to deliver. Michael is known to have ties to the Danielsville area. If you have any information on Michael's whereabouts, you're asked to contact the Carbon County Sheriff's Office at 570-325-2821. The deadline for businesses to participate in the annual Greater Hazelton Job Fair is rapidly approaching. The 20th annual job fair is scheduled to take place on Thursday, March 21st at the Laurel Mall in Hazelton. The event will run from 10 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. and provides an opportunity to match prospective employees with new and expanded employment opportunities. The deadline for businesses to register for the job fair is Friday, March 15th, and space is limited. The event is being coordinated by the Greater Hazleton Chamber of Commerce, and admission is free for all job seekers. For more information or to reserve a spot, you could contact Leanne Falabelle at lfalabelle@hazletonchamber.org. The Pennsylvania Department of Conservation and Natural Resources is reminding residents that fires are prohibited in Pennsylvania state forests. Unless permitted by the Forest District, fires are prohibited from March 1st through May 25th due to the increased danger of wildfires. The greatest danger of wildfires in Pennsylvania occurs during the months of March, April, and May. To check the daily fire danger across the Commonwealth, you could visit the department's website at dcnr.pa.gov. Coming up on Cunningham's News Choice, we recap yesterday's NFL Combine action on Let's Talk Sports. Plus, our furry friends are back on Pets of the Week. Then we check in with State Representative Dane Watrow on Watrow's weekly update. So stay right here because we'll be right back on WYLN TV.
Welcome back to Feel Good Friday. I'm joined with Dr. John. Dr. John, how's it going?
Great, Ryan. Every day is a blessing.
It really is. And we're going to talk about, how to extend those with some healthy eating.
Proper eating is essential. Number one, we always heard this, cut down on your carbs. So many Americans especially eat so many carbs. Bring out more vegetables. The vegetables is the key. Not even fruits. Fruits are lots of sugars. Eat vegetables. You could have some fat in your diet is what the research is telling us all the time, but the key is pastas, pizzas, breads. Try to cut them down if you can. The brain craves carbs, so when you cut it back for 1 week, then you don't crave it as much. You'll lose weight and your brain will be more sharp.
Yep, and there's definitely a lot of ways to improve those vegetables. Like if you're sauteing spinach, you can put some lemon on it.
Hey, that sounds good.
Something like that. Yeah, there's always ways to, improve your diet. But I'd like to thank Dr. John for joining us on this Feel Good Friday, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you, Ray.
Your guide to everything Pocono Mountains is PTN, the Pocono Television Network. Tune in and see all the unique places to stay and things to do in the Pocono Mountains. Watch PTN on WYLN.
Do you like craft beer? Do you want to learn the right way to sample wine? How about checking out a restaurant with a unique flavor or a crazy food challenge? These are just some of the things we are featuring on Wine, Hops, and Road Stops. So, spend some time learning about great wine, great beer, and great food on WYLN TV 35.
PPW Nation, get ready for the best of PPW Season 2. Join Paul Bowe, E. Julius Kuiper, Alexander Bravado, Tom Mitchell, and Alex Watt as we take you down memory lane and relive some of the best PPW matches of all time. Saturdays at 5 p.m., Sundays at 10 p.m., only on WYLN.
Like and follow WYLN News on Facebook for the WYLN News Midday Update, posted daily between noon and 2 p.m., powered by Lehigh Valley Health Network. When it's serious, there's only one health network with seriously innovative health institutes. Lehigh Valley Health Network, your health deserves a partner.
Welcome back to a Friday edition of Let's Talk Sports. And I mentioned yesterday we could talk about the NFL Combine, and that's what we're going to do on today's segment. The edge rushers and linebackers tested yesterday. They're doing their bench press today, so I'll get those numbers for you by Monday. But the testing's the important part, sort of the measurements, because teams in college tend to pad the stats, especially with height. Someone comes in 3 inches taller on the team's website than they do at the official combine. It's very important. So We're going to talk about the edge class and Dallas Turner. That you have to start there. He checked literally every box you want for an edge rusher. He ran a 4.46 40. He had a 40.5-inch vert jump, and he had 10'7" broad jump. Unbelievable numbers. This all but locks him into being the first defender off the board come draft time. And I have a couple spots written down. If the Chargers want to get funky with Nick Bosa and Khalil Mack because they're getting up there in age, they could do it. I'd say it's unlikely, but Atlanta at 8 and Chicago at 9, no way he gets past Chicago at 9. I give it like a 1% chance at this point because he absolutely smashed the combine, and it's all there on tape with what he put with the testing. So congrats to Dallas Turner. He just made himself a ton of money. We also had Jared Verse, who also did very well with the combine, the edge rusher from FSU. I think he locked himself into being second off the board. He looked really good in drills. He ran really well. And, teams always want edge rushers. We also had Laiatu Latu out of UCLA, who tested better than I expected when it came to the on-the-field drills and running the 40 time. But, we knew he was a decent athlete, but it all lies in his medicals as he stepped away from the game of football for a little bit and then came back. But if you look at his tape, he has all the tools of being a high-end edge rusher, especially with the moves to get around offensive tackles. And then we're going to close it out with Chop Robinson, 4.48 40 at his size. Unbelievable. Honestly, ridiculous. But the thing with him is we knew he was going to light up the combine. Penn State has an excellent weightlifting program. You see Micah Parsons. You see Saquon Barkley. They have one of these guys every 3 years, it feels like. But the problem with him is technique. He needs to refine his technique. You can see it on tape. He relies a lot on his speed and power to get around offensive tackles, and he doesn't have much of a repertoire of moves to, counter the offensive tackles when they're blocking him. But if he could go to a team, I'm going to throw this out there. I don't want this to be the pick because there's other positions of need. But if you went to a place like, say, Philly, where you could develop an edge rusher like that, he could be a top 5 edge rusher in the league because it's easier to teach technique than it is to teach athletic traits, obviously, for many, many of reasons. It's harder to get a lot faster, but it's easy to get a lot better with your hands. And, of course, they'll probably, in rookie mini camps and throughout the offseason, they'll work on refining his game. And if he gets there, it's a big if, but he'll be well worth the value. I think he's going to go in the first round. I'd say maybe late 20s, mid 20s, early 20s if a team falls in love with him. But then what do I know? He'll probably go in the mid-teens because that's how the NFL draft works. If you love a guy, you take him, and I don't fault teams for that. It's a big gamble here for Chop Robinson if he pans out. But those were the 4 standouts from the edge rusher class yesterday. Linebackers tested as well. And then we have tight ends and cornerbacks, I believe, testing today. And then we have running backs, wide receivers, and quarterbacks tomorrow. So that is it for this edition of Let's Talk Sports. We will see you right back here on Monday.
There's no time like the present to adopt a pet, and the SPCA of Luzerne County has more breeds, shapes, and sizes of furry friends for you to check out this week. Everyone say hello to Willow. This beauty is Willow. She's estimated to be a young adult, and just look at those ears. Willow did come in as a stray and weighs approximately 55 pounds. She is very sweet and playful with a friendly demeanor. She has not been dog or cat tested yet. Next up, meet Leanne. Leanne is a 6-month-old young adult tabby girl who was surrendered for adoption. She is sweet and a little shy, but would love to find a new home to come out of her shell. Call 570-825-4111 to come on down and check out these featured pets and more. You may just meet your new best friend, and give them a well-deserved forever home.
Your guide to everything Pocono Mountains is PTN, the Pocono Television Network. Watch PTN on WYLN.
And you will love the feel-good feeling you get when you shop at Grand Central in Nesquebec and Hazleton. You will enjoy a no-pressure professional sales staff, experienced delivery crew, service after the sale,
and don't forget, everyday low prices.
No matter what you're shopping for in your home, we have you covered with top brand names like Flex Steel, Lazy Boy, England, and Dillon Custom Rugs.
With our enormous selection and the flexibility to finance interest-free for up to 60 months, Grand Central makes it easy to make your house a home.
The Castle Auditorium Community Arts Center will be presenting the United States Air Force Heritage of America Rhythm in Blue Band at the Hazleton Area High School, Friday, March 15th. Doors open at 7, concert starts at 7:30. This event is sponsored by the Pasco L. Shivo Memorial Fund of the Luzerne Foundation and the Hazleton Elks Lodge number 200. This concert is free, open to the public. Tickets can be picked up at Boscov's and Laurel Ball in Hazleton, and tickets will be available at eventbrite.com, and a limited number of tickets will also be available at the door. There's no better place to shoot than Whitetail Preserve. Their skeet, trap, and sporting clay fields are professionally designed, and all stations are handicap accessible. Whitetail Preserve has resident shooting instructors certified by the NRA in shotgun, rifle, pistol, home safety, and personal protection in the home. Whitetail can also cater any size event, whether it be a private party, corporate event, or wedding. Call 570-384-2314 for more information.
Hello and welcome to Watro's Weekly Updates. I'm here with our state representative, Dane Watro. Dane, how are you today?
I'm very good. Thank you so very much for having me. This is our first time doing this interview together, so thank you so much. I sincerely appreciate WYLN, you all welcoming me here to talk about state-related issues. It's very important, and I cannot extend my gratitude enough.
Yeah. So, from what I've heard recently, so was there a certain policy barrier that you had to deal with?
Yeah. Just yesterday morning, we had a policy hearing. Representative Jamie Barton from the 124th District hosted a policy hearing, and more or less it was about breaking down barriers. We're faced with so many rules and restrictions. If it's building homes, if it's bringing businesses in, so much red tape. And we're talking about ways that we could help to cut through that red tape, to bring industry in, to bring businesses in, or just, let's face it, we have a housing crisis. We had a testifier testify before the House Republican policy hearing yesterday, and he expressed some major concerns regarding the housing crisis. We see it, we hear it on a daily basis, especially in this region of my district. And I have to say, we need to break down those barriers to try to be helpful. Now, I'm not talking about building multiple apartments in half a double house. I'm talking about breaking the barriers down, making it more easier for the good contractors out there, not being dinged or gigged on. Maybe the light switch is a little bit too high, so on and so forth. But by no means, I got to make that clear, are we supportive of a half a double having 10 apartments in them. We're talking about breaking down barriers to make our housing more welcoming here in our communities. We have so many businesses coming in, and we just got to make sure we have appropriate housing to house these people in there.
So was there a recent delegation that you also mentioned before?
Yeah, it's a great question. So last week I attended the delegation, Luzerne County delegation. It was a Luzerne, Wyoming hearing. I'm going to call it a hearing because we heard from stakeholders regarding the crisis that they're having to provide services for the needs of, if it's behavioral health, any type of mental health issues, people with disabilities. It's super important that these programs are properly funded because without doing so, we're not going to have the capability to educate these and help the people in need. So we really got to take a look at that budget. And I'm not just saying throwing money at these programs, but the part of the problem is that these service providers, okay, are limited to what they could pay their employees. So what's happening, and from what I'm hearing from these providers, is that they can't compete with the local manufacturer down the road to keep those good employees employed to help the needs of, if it's with mental disabilities or any type of services that's going to be provided by the Luzerne, Wyoming companies out there.
You can't have everything, can you? Yeah. No. Well, on a more positive part of all this recent progress that happened in the past month, we both know about, baked goods, and we both got to see something great at Aspire Bakeries, and so a little feedback on that. And
you and I were actually on that tour together. It was quite impressive. I really didn't know much about it as we both walked in there together, and when we seen the operation of how this dough is actually made right here in our Humboldt Industrial Park, manufacturing, it was so impressive. 150 employees they said they employ. That's a good amount of people. So I'm very happy to see that industry manufacturing being done right here in our hometown. Now, the funny thing, we always talk about social media, and I always try to promote, keep up to date what I'm doing and what's going on within the state and the Commonwealth. So there was a post I posted on there about our tour in Aspire Bakery and how we could be more helpful to them in the future. And my nephew reaches out. He said, "Hey, Uncle Dane," he said, "I actually built that line." So it was quite coincidental. So you have a local guy within our region building that very assembly line that was, not assembly line, but the mechanism to make that dough and roll it out for Aspire Bakery. It was quite welcoming to hear that my own family had a piece of that in there. And they also did make us some baked goods that were very delicious as well.
Absolutely, yeah. I could not help but take some home, and oh man. Yeah. Don't want to overdo it, do you?
Right. No, very true. I
used to actually want to work in a factory before. It was because I'm still an avid Lego fan. But hey, I still got a long ways ahead. I can always think of other things, but I'm happy here doing what I do.
Right. Yes. Manufacturing is super important in our area because they're good family-sustaining jobs, and that's the type of industry we need to welcome into our community here within 116th district. As well as speaking to a developer yesterday who actually was testifying regarding this housing crisis we're in, and he has a business within our 116th legislative district, and I said to him, bring more businesses into our district because we like to see growth.
Yeah, because I see a lot of them, especially in that, because of this job, I got to see so much. In this district, I did not know that there was so much work like that being done. It's incredible.
It is incredible, and it's good because that's what people need: good family-sustaining jobs.
Well, thanks for catching us on Wacho's Weekly Update. I hope we have some amazing stuff. Hopefully, more positives than negatives. Catch you next time.
And that does it for the news. Remember, the source matters now more than ever. Catch all the latest news and updates on our YouTube, Facebook, or at our website at wylntv.com. Stay with us for a look at the weather.
You're watching WYLN TV 35.